Rehabilitating China's crumbling high-rises. Part 1. The Challenge. The early generations of high-rise housing were constructed in China between 1975 and the housing reform of 1998. They include the first, early and late transitional generations. These high-rises were all made with relatively low quality, standard designs and construction methods. Similar towers and slabs can be found stamped throughout China. But these standard designs have become outdated over time. Complaints such as a lack of space, outdated floor plans and overcrowded parking areas can be heard from residents. Furthermore, a lack of maintenance has caused further aesthetic, functional and technical physical decay. Of Beijing's 1,400 inner-city high-rises alone, a high 87% are now in need of immediate physical regeneration. Next to the physical decay, the high-rises are also in an ongoing process of social deprivation. Prior to the housing market reform of 1998, different social strata would live together in these high-rises. There was a high level of social inclusiveness. After the housing market reform of 1998, housing value and speculation became rampant. New modern apartments were built, and many residents of middle and higher income groups are moving out of the earlier high-rises into the newer estates. Less affluent renters then move in. This exodus of socio-economic capacity continues the process of social deprivation. During the economic transition, the amount of stakeholders involved in the early high-rises has increased significantly. The majority of the apartments have been sold off, yet the land, and even in some cases the building, remains property of the government. With the rise of the planned market parties also became involved. Now, so many parties have joined the table that it's nearly impossible to start the needed physical improvements. All these stakeholders have different interests in the regeneration of the early high-rises. All these contradictory interests, together with the complex power relations between the many stakeholders, have resulted in a financial impasse. Nobody really wants to or can invest in improving the early high-rises. Together, these three processes have initiated a negative spiral. A conventional demolition approach neither offers a real solution nor is it currently a realistic option. Instead, an interdisciplinary, cross-scale and through-time approach was adopted to develop an integral rehabilitation strategy which can break the negative spiral and offers a realistic solution for China's crumbling high-rises. Part 2. The Strategy. The strategy to integrally tackle the challenge of China's crumbling high-rises consists of three components: the socio-organizational proposition, a financial model, and the physical method. The socio-organizational component. This component proposes changes in policy to solve problems which are present in the early high-rises but stem from urban or policy scale. Problems like the lack of affordable housing, housing speculation, and the lack of maintenance and sustainability can be seen in the earlier high-rises, but these issues transcend far beyond the scale of early high-rises alone. These issues can only be completely solved by making changes on the scale where the issues are caused. Therefore, changes in national policy and legislation are proposed on matters like sustainable housing development, land lease extensions, maintenance legislation, and long-term investment stimulus policies. These policy changes, although necessary, cannot be waited on as it might take decades to change a policy climate. So, to bridge this time, the rehabilitation will be spread into 4 phases: crumbling, fixed, better, and ideal. In the fixed phase, solutions are proposed which can offer quick fixes alleviating problems on site scale in an unideal reality. In the later phases, ideal solutions can be proposed and problems can be solved on the appropriate scale. The financial model. To break the current financial impasse, a self-sustaining financial model was developed. This model aims to diversify investment streams by making it financially attractive and realistic for all stakeholders to participate in rehabilitation. Therefore, this model tries to empower, entice, and facilitate stakeholders to invest. To empower the stakeholders, a dual top-down, bottom-up approach is adopted. This means that the communal grounds and high-rise building are rehabilitated top-down by a stakeholder coalition, whereas the dwellings are rehabilitated bottom-up by the owners and residents themselves. To enthuse stakeholders to participate in the rehabilitation, a merger of interests or a win-win situation is created. This win-win situation was created in three ways: by using compensational construction, by using self-financing constructions, and by applying a two-bird, one-stone approach. Firstly, compensational development can be made during rehabilitation to make an unprofitable rehabilitation into a profitable business case. Secondly, self-financing constructions. These are improvements that can partially repay themselves over time, such as zero-energy renovations. And finally, the two birds, one stone approach. This means that proposed physical improvement also fulfills secondary interests of stakeholders. For example, by developing rehabilitation improvements which simultaneously make the high-rises more sustainable or elderly friendly. To facilitate stakeholders to invest in rehabilitation, the principle of phased value creation is used. Phased value creation helps to keep financial risk for all stakeholders acceptable. Simple and cheap improvements done in a fixed phase lead to value creation, which in the following phase frees more investment. So, in better and ideal phases, more and more complex improvements can be executed. To commence investments, a catalyst is necessary. The government will provide an initial investment in the form of long-term public loans, usable subsidies, and tax and land fee exemptions. A non-profit developer will make quick fixes using the initial catalyst investment. When initial improvements create value, market parties and for-profit developers will start investing in these high-rises, and residents will start making the improvements in their dwelling. When more and more value is created, more investments can be attracted, eventually realizing the self-sustaining financial model. Component 3. The physical method. The physical method was developed to realistically solve the technical, functional, and aesthetic decay in the early high-rises by following 5 steps. Step 1. Placement in urban context. All high-rises are subdivided in 3 categories, determining which type of physical improvements can be made. Category Preserve for high-rises with heritage value, Renew for the average high-rise, and Explore for the high-rises near high-value development sites. This division ensures that as more and more high-rises are rehabilitated, an interesting patchwork of diverse and unique living environments is created, and over-rehabilitation is prevented. Step 2. Top-down rehabilitation of the communal grounds and high-rise building. In Step 2, we start the rehabilitation of the communal grounds and the communal elements, such as load-bearing constructions, thermal envelope, communal corridors, and infrastructure in a top-down manner. A coalition of all stakeholders, led by the rehab coach, will determine what needs to be improved in their high-rise. Together, they can choose from a wide array of developed tools. Tools are standardized, prefabricated, and customizable construction systems. They offer easy, attractive, and affordable solutions to the decay of the high-rises. All tools simultaneously fulfill a variety of secondary interests of stakeholders, enticing them to participate. Step 3. Bottom-up rehabilitation of the dwelling. This step facilitates the rehabilitation of the dwelling by residents and owners when they are willing and able. To make this as easy, attractive, and affordable for them, all residents will receive a Renew Guide. In the Renew Guide, residents can choose from 4 standardized, prefabricated, customizable product lines, which offer all the improvements they need for their dwelling. Multi is a multifunctional and transformable closet system. Service offers plug-and-play bathroom and kitchen modules. Extend offers plug-and-play dwelling extensions. And with Assist, residents can complete their dwelling. The products can be customized to fit the layout of the dwelling and style preferences of the residents, and can simply be ordered online via the Renew website. In the on-site Renew workshop, the Renew handyman used the CNC miller to print the product parts to sheet. For the most convenience, the workshop's handyman can assemble the products. For more affordability, residents can use DIY manuals to assemble the products themselves. After assembly, the products can be installed swiftly in or onto the dwelling, restricting the nuisance of construction to residents. Step 4. From tools to plan. The Renew Architect. The Renew Architect helps to show the stakeholder coalition and individual residents how to best apply the tools and the Renew products they have selected. The architect can show them an ideal vision for the future of their high-rise. Step 5. Ask it to the Renew Technical Building Designer. The Renew Technical Building Designer works closely together with the architect to determine the limits and possibilities of the construction, climate design, and the building construction. Using the standardized construction details, he produces the drawings from which the rehabilitation will commence. All the components work together to solve the challenge. So let's rehabilitate and give a future to China's crumbling high-rises.